Today we're
Before,
talking to John Moriarty in Wellington. I had the good pleasure of interviewing John personally before he joined the club, and I realized then and there that John was just the right person to be treasurer of the club. So he is the guy that actually sends you the emails with those notes about paying up for the club. Well, that being said, I'd prefer to have a little more personal side to John and let him talk to you about where he is today and how he got to where he's at. So with that being said, John, you now have the podium.
yeah, thank you, Robert. That's good. Yes, I do remember us meeting, and I got talked into the fellowship position. I haven't had much time to push the fellowship side of it. The foundation side, the Rotary Foundation side. I haven't had much time to push that, but I've been too busy chasing up treasury issues. But how did I get to here? Well, that's easy. I'm retired now. I've been in the workforce for a long time, and I retired several years ago and have been involved in a lot of voluntary activity since then. Voluntary activity with Rotary. I'm the world president of Rotarians of Amateur Radio. It's a 3-year sentence, I believe the word is, where you look after an international fellowship for 3 years. And that means going to convention each of those 3 years, which I've done at Sydney, at Sao Paulo. I gave Seoul a miss because I'd only been in Seoul a little earlier on business. And I really didn't see the need to go back. So I joined by video conference in that case. And now I'll be going off to Toronto, which will be the last of my 3 years as fellowship president. But before retiring, I did a number of things. I did some lecturing at Victoria University in the School of Management and also the School of Tourism there. I have had a bit of a research background for the last 10 years of my life, or working life, and that started up mainly through tourism, believe it or not. Which might sound odd that an electrical engineer would ever wind up becoming the leader of the Tourism Industry Association in New Zealand, but it just shows what can be done. I got involved in tourism mainly because I was involved in the railway industry in New Zealand, responsible for all of the passenger movements throughout the country on ships and on trains. And of course, a lot of the customers who use the rail visitors, tourists. And so I got involved in the industry that way. And then when I left the rail industry, joined the Tourism Industry Association as their chief executive. Hello, what's happened here? That got me into tourism research, and from tourism research, to an interest in management studies, and away we went. So that's part of the journey. Prior to that, though, I was in the communications field, telecommunications with New Zealand Telecom Corporation, and prior to that, working in the IT sector. So I really had 40 years working in tourism, telecommunications, rail technology, transportation. I think anything that starts with T, I think, is the best way to describe leadership positions as well. How I joined the club? Well, I was president of a club in Wellington, a very small club, and a number of us, were struggling to see how we could rejuvenate the club. After my year as president, we tried quite hard to inject a little bit more life into the club and to get some younger people joining. But alas, as is often the case, not everybody shared the same view that we should be, getting younger folk in and changing some of the things that we did, because we were losing members through death in some cases. Some cases people were relocating out of Wellington, and so our membership was declining. But rather than replace them with younger people, many of the members only wanted them replaced by their friends who were older people. And so the club, started to become, very, very restricted in what it could do, and worse, what it wanted to do. So I was thinking of starting up an e-club in District 9940, but I heard that there was one in 9980, and I do know a few people in 9980. I used to be the treasurer of Shelterbox, which was a very good 9980 initiative many years ago. So I looked it up and joined. When it comes to the club's interested in water and sanitation and health. Some of those I'm very interested in from a technical perspective. The technical side of WASH is something that I'm somewhat familiar with, so that's a start. I'm also reasonably adept at information technology, and a lot of the project work that goes on in the WASH area is preparation for good project management. It's pretty difficult to run a WASH project without having good project management, so there are other areas of contribution that can be made. But in the meantime, most of the work is going into setting up the administration of the club. And whilst that sounds simple, administration is a single word, there's quite a bit behind the scenes, making sure that we're linked through properly to Rotary International, to make sure that the banks will actually honour our cheques and that all of the members are properly accounted for and registered with Rotary. And lastly but not leastly, everybody pays their subs on time. And if that's a simple job, well, I don't think any treasurer in Rotary would tell you otherwise. It's a bit of a challenge sometimes. But the good news is that our administration is in good shape, and our membership is starting to rise. And I'm very pleased, that we've got a very clean bill of health with all of the organisations that we're involved with. So that's a little bit of a snapshot of me. You might have some questions, Rob.
Now, I guess the question on my side was getting back to our conversation regarding e-clubs versus traditional clubs. We always thought that maybe an e-club would be a lot easier because as we all travel or whatever, it's just a lot easier to get involved in the e-club. But we're starting to find out that e-clubs are a little bit more of a challenge. And I was wondering what you were thinking from your perspective.
Yeah, no, well, e-clubs are a challenge. In fact, now that I'm in one, I'm experiencing the challenges firsthand. The tyranny of distance is always an issue. Even though you might go along to a local club on a periodic basis, to meet with them and show your face and get some fellowship with them, that's only part of it. We have done some joint work with other clubs. In fact, all of the local e-WASH people, which is you and I and our spouses, were working with the Wellington Rotary Club to put up a tree of remembrance, which was a fundraising exercise that we did in December 2017, which gave some money to Heart Kids at the end of the day. So that was a good collaboration with a local club. We had probably more people collaborate and join us during those 2 days. So unless you're doing things like that, it's easy to lose touch. I guess the big challenge is making sure that everybody in the club has something to do, give them a job that's in keeping with their skills and something that they would like to do in the WASH area. And if you've got something to do and something to team up with others on, then the e-club becomes a much easier concept to be successful in. Otherwise, not seeing people face to face and only catching up with people infrequently over Skype isn't quite the substitute, for the face-to-face work.
I guess one thing that everybody is really interested in right now is, and it obviously it involves paying subs, is how is everything going with PayPal?
I missed that. Sorry. How's everything going with?
With PayPal?
Oh, PayPal, right. Well, PayPal applications are dead simple. You just have to give them what they want. There's a lot of new information that PayPal insists on, and that's the identities of all of the people involved because, you know, of the money laundering work that's going on around the world. So setting up an account of any description, whether it's a bank or PayPal, you've got to get all that data right. And we're just waiting to get one little last, I'm holding my breath that will work. So nearly there, nearly there.
I know. Well, you know, it's interesting. I'm experiencing a lot of technical difficulty on my side, and I'm really hoping that this this little broadcast we've got going is working. If you don't mind, give me a chance to work some things out. And in the meantime, you can talk a little bit more to our membership, and I'll kind of work hopefully some magic on my side. So hold on for a second, John.
We now have a blank wall to look at, which is very good. Best way to solve technical problems is have somebody come up and visit you in the same room.
You know, the issue I've got right now is quite frankly, I'm not sure if this is going to work. But actually, I'm actually standing with John right now, and so I thought it'd be a really good chance to kind of corner him and get him to do the member talk, as well as a few other issues we've got to resolve with the membership. But anyway, cheers from Wellington. It's Rob Overly and John Moriarty signing off.
Bye.